Hello brothers and sisters, welcome to another episode here on Dangerous African Confessions HD. In this episode, we have a confession from our brother who told us about what his wife went through at the hands of a pastor who promised her of doing certain rituals for their family to move in a good direction. This decision that they accepted for the pastor to help them in the matters of the spiritual realm was the worst decision that he ever made as a man. This was for the pastor to help them in prayer for them to be able to have at least one child. He tells me that is how come the pastor came in and things never became the same again in their family. This video is not to suggest that pastors out there are like that. And this revelation is for us to know what some pastors do at the blind side of the masses who think they are next to God. To understand this whole thing and get to know the truth behind all that he wants to share, let us go and listen to him. And please don't forget to subscribe, like and share this video so that others can listen to it. Brother, let me tell you this, I never thought for the slightest moment in my life that I will ever sit anywhere one day and talk about any pastor in the manner that I might be sharing with you today. I had so much respect and honor for anyone that I meet and he is a pastor. But this man broke any kind of trust that I did have in the person that have the title as a pastor. You see, I don't blame him. Yes, I mean the pastor. I don't blame him, because after sitting down and reflecting on this whole issue, I came to the conclusion that he took advantage of us because we were desperate for a child. And if we had come to the understanding that it is only in God's time that he makes his glory manifest in us, we wouldn't have been his victim. Brother, you wouldn't understand why I said we were his victims. I know and understand everything if you find it difficult to believe or digest all that I am saying. Let me explain for you to get the whole picture, so you will appreciate my position. You see, it all started when my wife and I were really desperate for a child. Yes, I know now that we were desperate for a child. But that time, I didn't see it to be a desperation. Because we all felt we needed to have a child of our own, and if he was going to be the solution that God will use to give us the child, there was absolutely nothing wrong about meeting a prophet and having our desires met. So that is how come he got himself, we came in contact with him. It was on the premise of that. It happened that I happened to attend church with my wife, but she had other prayers that she went to. And as a Christian, I knew it was right thing to do if my wife goes for prayers and support the family in the spiritual matters, whilst we navigate our ways in life. It was as she going to prayers that someone told her about this pastor that I am saying has been a problem for my family. Opposite to the reason why we went to him in the first place. And the thing is that, I normally do not stay home, because of my work. I am an engineer in a mining company, so most of my days are spent at the site and in the field, whilst my wife stays or lives in our house in the city. So I go to work in the weekdays and then return home on weekends. There was no complaints from my wife as to my absence affecting her in any way. One thing about this whole situation is that I got the chance to travel with some colleagues to South Africa on the ticket of my company. We were about 4 workers in general. We went to South Africa for some courses. We did spend 3 months there before we finally returned back to Ghana. Brother, I left for South Africa as a happy person and my family was a happy one when I left. But I returned to meet a different wife and a different home. Why do I say this? You see, apparently, during my time out of the country, my wife still kept on her prayers and all that. And she felt the need to go and see this pastor who the person had introduced to her. To see if there was something that was really causing our inability to have a child. At this point, I certainly understand my wife for taking all those steps, because nothing medically was wrong with both of us. And so, we felt there was the need for us to bring in a spiritual person in our issue. And in this case, because we associated with Christianity, we felt comfortable sharing our problems with a Christian pastor. So when she told me about meeting the pastor, I was all for it. Because if he is able to help us all, we will have our dreams become a reality. So she started visiting the pastor in his church and had completely stopped going to church on Sundays in our own church. I didn't have any problem with it, because from the way the pastor even spoke with me on the phone, I felt he was a good person and there was nothing wrong with her visiting his church. Since he was also the very pastor helping us spiritually. This relationship of some sort of a pastor and a daughter grew from just mere helping to them becoming close. Where according to my wife, he sometimes calls her when he comes to our area for them to talk. And he continued to give her words of encouragement until the day that he invited her to come over to his office because there was a revelation about her from the Lord. She, not knowing what the pastor had planned, also went to meet the pastor in his office like he had asked her. This she told me that she got to the office, and even before he told her whatever he had seen in the spirit, he offered her a drink and she took the drink. She said that, after some time of taking the drinks, she couldn't understand what she was feeling. So, the pastor asked her to relax in the sofa that is in his office, because according to him, it wasn't advisable for her to step out all alone. So she also sat in the sofa and rested her head on the right shoulder of the sofa. She didn't realize anything again. According to my wife, she felt someone removing her pants, but was too weak to do anything. And that was the very first time the pastor took advantage of her and slept with her. Yeah, I asked her about it, how she got to know. And she was like, she came back to herself around about 8 p.m. thereabout. And she realized as a lady that something had happened to her. Because she felt all sort of watery stuff in her womanhood and in her pants. So she was confused and started calling the name of the pastor, who came in, and when she asked what happened, he at first tried to play his innocence, but after some time, he told her the truth of sleeping with her. But then blaming the devil for what had happened. Brother, you what? It is funny how after pleading with my wife not to tell anyone and even made a lot of promise, he later told her that it was a spiritual thing that he did for my wife, and that she was going to see the result of what he did for her. I asked her why she didn't inform me or tell the police about it. She said that she felt ashamed of telling me that someone has seen her nakedness and had even gone ahead to have a taste of her. So she decided to bury the pain in her heart and keep it to herself. But brother, little did she know that it wasn't just his fantasies that he was serving, but there was more TP what he did than my wife knew. She told me that, in about a week after the incident, she started having this huge feeling and pushed to go to the pastor again. And didn't know what happened. She started going to the pastor and making out with him. So brother, for almost about 2 months or so, this man has been having his way with my wife. And the most painful aspect of this whole issue is that my wife now is not really a sane person. What I mean by she is not a sane person is not to suggest that she has lost it in her mind like that. But then, she will be screaming of some scary creatures coming towards her. When she is alone or sleep, she will wake up around 12 a.m. and will begin to scream of something chasing her. This is what she has been battling with after those incidents with the pastor. You see, when our 3 months in South Africa was over and we returned home, I really already had a different feel of something bad going on. This is because my wife stopped calling me and will not even respond to my calls. And even when she does, the way she would talk to me was not the woman I knew before going to South Africa. So I wasn't feeling okay about the sudden change in my wife's behavior. That is when I finally returned back home. I met her absence in the house. So, she came home to meet me, and it shocked her real time. She was fumbling here and there to any questions I asked her. After about 3 days of silence in the house, she told me that she had something to tell me and made me promise her I wouldn't leave her after I listened to whatever she had to tell me. That was when she revealed to me of what happened to her and why she didn't feel comfortable to talk to me over the phone. In fact, brother, I was really hurt and I didn't know what to do the very moment she was pouring that news to me. My eyes were drowned with tears and I thank God that I was able to hold on to myself, because I didn't know what would have done. So, I honestly left the house I'd moved in with my friend's house because I didn't know if I was going to do something bad that I might have done, hearing that thing that she owed. So, after everything, it happened that the pastor was using dark charms on women, and my wife is not the first of his victims. It was when I reported the case to the police that a lot of women also came up with similar stories. And as for the things that she sees at night, we now have a spiritual person dealing with it for us. And I am hoping she will be alright very soon. It was this man who we were introduced to that told us all about the things the pastor uses on his victims. This he said that he had a covenant with a dark force where he needs a certain number of women in order to become as powerful as he is looking to become. So, when he gives you that and you sleep, he gets his way with you and then cleans the fluid that will come from your private part and then offer as a sacrifice to the spirits he has consulted. So, it is as a result of that my wife is experiencing what she has been experiencing. And when he gets his way with you, and you don't have a strong spirit, you will never agree to anything someone says about him. Please my people, life is not about always trying to understand this world. Sometimes, we need to allow life to play its roles in our life the way it will serve us good. I hope my fellow men and women who will be listening to you about my story learn something from my wife and my story. So, they don't fall victims to any man or woman pastor out there. Thank you. Don't forget to please subscribe, share and like our videos. Kindly hit the notification bell so you will be the first to get notification to our videos when we upload. Indeed, I believe this story of our brother and his wife will serve as an eye-opener for some of us, who when we get into situations, we always seek for quick and short-term solutions. Maybe, if he and the wife had waited for a little while, maybe their help would have come in a very good way which wouldn't have needed any sacrifice and the things that the wife had to go through. Like I always say, these are not just stories for story's sake. They are meant for us not to make these mistakes our brothers and sisters are making. That's why we share these stories with you. Just like we always do in this house, please let us also hear from you, our beautiful family members. Let's listen to your views and concerns and comments in the comment section. Yes, just as we are here to share with ourselves what is going on out there, we do bring these conversations with you, our family members, to help our innocent brothers and sisters to realize what is happening out there, that they do not have any idea about, so that they can make their own decisions going forward in their day-to-day activities. Because the way the system has been, if you don't take care, someone will pretend to be the savior that you need in times of needs and troubles. But then, they themselves will at the end of the day put you in a place where you so much have no idea in the first place. Be wise, my brothers and sisters. Because like he said in the beginning of his conversation with us, he said that he knows that it was out of their desperation that the pastor had his way with them in the first place. You know, nothing in this world is for free. I just hope that we honestly take the important lessons from these stories to better our lives and decisions. Stay blessed and be safe. Thanks for being a part of this growing family. Kindly share your thought with us in the comment section below. And if you are new here, please subscribe, like and share.